It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. All right, so the question was asked, how do I know I'm being a good leader? So I recently did an Agile Leadership Summit, and this question came up, and I thought it was an excellent question. So I thought I'd cover I'm going to try to see if I can get to the top 10, maybe a couple more signs that you are being a good leader. So many people, when they look at leaders, they judge them based on their characteristics or their attitude or how they process information or if they're a good communicator. But I wanted to transcend all these things and just give you a good, solid list of what good leaders do. So here we go. Starting right at the top, a good leader has a passion for the outcome of the product or service that's being delivered, but they care more about ensuring that the team succeeds and has what they need. When you start caring about the people who are building your product or service or are introducing or implementing your product or service, that's when you're really going to have success. In fact, there are many large companies that really go out of their way to say that if you can keep the internal team happy, that's going to keep all your external folks happy. So that realignment and refocus on the internal consumers is very, very important. Okay. Let's go to the second one. They motivate their teams on a regular basis. It's more than just giving positive feedback. I mean, positive feedback's important, but they find ways to really lift their team up and allow them to enjoy what they do. They reward people and recognize when somebody does a good job. It's not so much that you need to be militant about the way you're doing it or have extreme structure, but you need to make sure people are aware that you are happily engaged in helping them and that they are appreciated for what they're being asked to do, that they're appreciated and that people care about them. All right. A good leader has a passion to teach, mentor, and help younger members learn. So there's this attitude recently that I heard of, oh, if you just let them figure it out, then they'll get through the struggles and they'll never have to go through them again. Sometimes that's a great way if you're trying to help people who are constantly engaged in doing the wrong thing. But if they're really trying to do the right thing, it's our responsibility to help make sure they understand that we want to help them learn and grow. So good leaders are going to have the pay it forward attitude instead of the just figure it out attitude. All right, let's try number 4. A good leader has the ability for the lead to handle the big titles. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you hear people ever say, I'm too busy for your problems because I'm a leader and I'm just very busy myself, I can't help you, that's usually a bad sign. If you have a leader who is not too big for their britches and is always willing to help if they can, that's generally a good sign that they are a good leader. That, and I want to make sure I'm clear. It doesn't mean that they're always open to everything at any time, but it means that they understand the importance of guiding the team and helping them get to where they need to be. A good leader has an openness to share their expertise and insight with team members. They want to make sure that everyone can benefit from what they know. In fact, in my recent class last week, I taught an advanced Scrum Master class, and I had someone tell me, it should be our job to train our replacement. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of sad to think of it that way. But it's actually true that if we want to accelerate and move into another position, we need to make sure that there's someone ready to backfill our current position. If no one's there to backfill our current position, leadership is less inclined to select us for an enhanced position or an upgraded position because there's no one there to take our place and they have to hire someone new to do what we do. But if there's someone there that's ready to take our place, it gives us a greater opportunity for growth. So more times than not, if there's no one trained to take our place, the leadership team is going to look for someone to take the leadership position externally instead of promoting for the leadership position from within. All right, let's go to number 6. A great leader has the ability to humble oneself. If you always act like you do no wrong, you're going to come off as cocky, arrogant, and no one's going to like you. But if you have the ability to say, I'm not always right, and I'm interested in hearing your opinion, help me understand why you feel this way, that's going to really drive people to want to be around you. And it's going to have people look at you as a strong leader. All right, let's go to number 7. A good leader checks often to see how their team members are doing. And I'm not just talking about Hey, how things going today, Tim? It can't be so contrived. You need to understand what's going on within the teams, across teams. Understand if people have appointments or engagements or things they have to take care of at home or whatever the case may be. The more close knit you are with your team members and the more sincere you are about how they're doing in their success, the better they're going to treat you and the better you're going to understand them. All right, let's go at number 8. A good leader has the ability to communicate what they need and expectations around how to be effective to the team members. So, whether you're a stakeholder or whether you're just a strong leader, you need to be a hub of all communication. You need to be a center for communication. And you need to make sure that people understand what you're asking for, but not just what, but why you're asking for it. And I think that if you can effectively get people guided down that path, and you have realistic expectations that rely on their expertise and not just what you're asking for, crazy things, and you're giving them realistic timelines to get it done in, and you're allowing the team to limit, whip, and swarm to the work in progress, that's going to help them believe in you and your effectiveness as a manager. They're not going to feel like they're constantly being asked to do things that are impossible or that their time is shredded between 8 or 9 different initiatives. Speaking of 9, a good leader treats everyone as equals. I know we have diversity, equity, inclusiveness, and this is making sure that everyone has a place at the table. So there's no favoritism, there's no nepotism, no idea is a bad idea. We're going to listen to all the ideas and we're going to try to understand and treat everyone as equals. This is probably one of the hardest ones for a leader to do, but the next one is even harder. Number 10, avoid micromanaging your teams. The reason I say this one's hard is because a lot of times, especially for example, like what a Scrum Master, where 70% of what they do is intangible, it's our natural tendency to want to micromanage to figure out, is the Scrum Master being as effective as they could be? Are they being as efficient as they could be? And good leaders don't do that. They just back off. And as long as things are going well, and as long as the teams are successful, and as long as the Scrum Master is there and doing their job to help the teams be successful, I'm not going to argue over what they do. It's just not healthy to worry about the minutia of what's going on within teams. Great leaders don't micromanage or do helicopter therapy. Great leaders understand where people are, they meet them where they are, and they lift them up. They find ways to, if they know someone's struggling, if they know someone's going through a hard time, they find ways to uplift them so that they can have what they need to be successful. All right, let's throw a bonus out there. Good leader understands there must be some time set aside for studying and learning. So when you can let go of the reins and give your team members a chance to really accelerate their growth and understand how they can be better at what they do, it's really going to help you in the long run because they're going to have that expanded knowledge, but the products and services they build are going to be so much better. And I think that they're going to actually care about what they do. And when you start treating people, and I love this quote. It was a quote I heard from Richard Branson. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you can start taking on the human aspect of what's going on and looking at the perspective with regard to your team, you need to make sure that you understand that there's going to be times where people are burnt out or that they're sick or that they're not going to be able to make it into the office for whatever reason. And you need to make sure that you have a plan in place that the rest of the team will step up and do what they need to do and get the work done, but also that they don't feel overwhelmed in the process of doing that. And I think what it all boils down to is instead of having the, oh, everything is easy attitude, it's critically important for leaders to look at everything more holistically and say, okay, out of everything that needs to be done, are we doing the right thing? And are we focused on the right outcome? And if you stop just proclaiming that everything's easy and we should be knocking it out of the park, don't belittle what the team does. Make sure you let them know that their effort is appreciated, and make sure that you understand that you're walking a mile in their shoes. Because what you're doing should never be about output or deadlines. It should be about outcome and feelings and communication and making sure we're building the right product or service. We all know that you as a leader have an insanely busy schedule, but it's important for you to understand that through your own responsibilities and through delegation, that you need to make certain that people have a favorable experience or else they will not keep coming back. All right, so that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.